to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Crazy. Let's see what happened. Invite. Hey everyone. I don't know how I did this, but somehow or another I put myself. Let me just do this. It's crazy. Let me remove one of me. I can't. Okay, remove from stream. There you go. I don't know what happened here. Oh. All right. I have no idea what's going on here. Maybe I don't care. Oh. But can you guys hear me? Oh. But can you guys hear me? Okay. We're good. But can you guys hear me? Okay. We're good. All right. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Aga. Hello, Fabianto. Hi, Miss Tracy. Hi. How are you, Ango? Good morning to everyone that is tuning today. I thought I posted that my time changed today. I realized I didn't. And so I was called into work early this morning, but my boss knows that I do this show, and there was somebody to replace me, but I just couldn't get out fast enough. And then I thought I posted this for 10 o'clock, and I didn't. So I had to repunch everything back in, and it is what it is. I'm still here because actually we have to get through this book, right? And I've announced the next book that we're going to be going on to, and it's an outdated book. This book is outdated, so if you find it, good luck. You might be able to find it on Goodreads as a PDF, though. So if you can get it as a PDF, accept it, and follow me along. But it'll be in an email, not as an app or anything. But this is the book, Company of Prophets, African American Psychics, Healers, and Visionaries. That's the next book. And so what we have to do with this book right now is finish it. Got to finish this book. So, Conversations with God. We are actually on page 72. Page 72. And welcome, everyone. And thank you for coming through, even though I was late. So, we're at the point in the book where Neil has all of these questions, right? Some of them are kind of silly to me. And yes, I'm judging Neil. But I have to remember where Neil is at in the universe, right? And when he wrote this book, the universe hadn't awakened yet. There was no real such thing as New Age. So he's really learning a lot of things by having these conversations with God. So when he wrote the book, some of us have spiritual advancements. And so at this stage, I'm like, oh, this is so silly. Why does he make God repeat everything, right? But I have to understand where Neil was at the time that he had these conversations with God. So we're on page 72, and Neil has all these questions. And the very last question, he says, these are just a few of my questions, he says to God. As I said, I have 100 more. Some of these questions embarrass me. They seem so sophomoric. But answer them, please, one at a time, and let's talk about them. So I love Neil's vulnerability, right? And God goes, good, now we're getting to it. And he goes, don't apologize for these questions, right? When you were in school, didn't your teacher, whenever you say, listen, I've got a stupid question, and didn't your teacher always say there are no stupid questions, right? There are stupid answers, but there are no stupid questions, right? So God goes, don't apologize for these questions. These are the questions men and women have been asking for hundreds of years. If the questions were so silly, they wouldn't be asked over and over again by each succeeding generation. So let's go to question 1. I have established laws in the universe that make it possible for you to create exactly what you choose. These laws cannot be violated, nor can they be ignored. You are following these laws right now, even as you read this. You cannot follow the law, for these are the way things work. You cannot step aside from this. You cannot operate outside of it. Every minute of your life, you've been operating inside of it. And everything you have ever experienced, you have thusly created. You are in partnership with God. We share an external covenant. My promise to you is to always give you what you ask. Your promise is to ask, to understand the process of the asking and the answering. I've already explained this process to you once. I'll do so again so that you clearly understand it. You are a threefold being. You consist of body, mind, and spirit. You could also call these the physical, the non-physical, and the metaphysical. I like that. The physical, the non-physical, and the metaphysical. Hold on a second. Physical, the non-physical, physical, non-physical, and the metaphysical. Hold on, let me answer this tweet. Tweet, tweet, tweetity. Stop it. All right. Anybody's electronics are acting up yet? I know Mercury retrograde is here soon. Not yet, but it'll be here soon. Okay. So you are a threefold being. You consist of body, mind, and spirit. You can also call these the physical, the non-physical, and the metaphysical. Hi, sweet Carmel, peace and blessings. This is the Holy Trinity, and it has been called many names. If you're Catholic, we know it as the Holy Trinity. I don't know what other religions call it, but I only know Catholicism, and that's what I remember. The Holy Trinity. That which you are, I am manifested as three in one. Some of your theologians have called this the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I know it as the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. I also know it as the Holy Trinity. I'm not saying I'm right. That's my upbringing. I prefer physical, non-physical, metaphysical. That sounds more New Age for me, right? Not so Catholic. All right. Theologians have called this the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Your psychiatrists have recognized the true vibrate and call it conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Now, if you took any psychology classes, this is what they talk about: the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. Except that in psychology, actually, as things progressed, they no longer believe that the subconscious is this hidden thing. They believe the subconscious is somewhere lying dormant, right? Your philosophers have called it the id, right? We know this part, the ego, and the super ego. Oh my God, this is bringing me back to school. Is it bringing you back to school, anyone? Science calls this, I was never into science, energy, matter, antimatter, right? Poets speak of mind, heart, soul. Oh, I love that. I am all about poetic justice. Mind, heart, and soul. New Agers, I raise my hand, thinkers refer to body, mind, and spirit. I'm going to write all this down because it's going to be so much fun. Okay. Your time is divided into past, present, and future. Could this not be the same as subconscious, conscious, superconscious? Space is likewise divided into three, here, there, and the space between. I didn't know that. It is defining and describing this space between that becomes difficult, elusive. The moment you begin defining or describing your space, you describe something of the here or there. Yet we know the space between exists. It's what holds here and there in place, just as the internal now holds before and after in place. You know, this brings me to a client that I had yesterday, right? And it's the knowing that something happened today, right? Today something happened, right? And then wanting to get, like having a diagnosis by a doctor and then wanting to get an answer from me, right? And sometimes I can get an answer, and sometimes getting an answer is above me, and I know the difference. So when I don't get a clear answer on something that's been diagnosed, that is designed. That's the space in between. It's not that spirit doesn't want to answer, but the unknown and the space in between is very, very important to not bring to the forefront. And I could tell that that's what spirit was giving off, but my job is to explain it. So I began to explain it in such a way to impress upon the person that they have work to do, that there was I didn't use these words, of course, because I didn't understand the words until this moment, that there's a space in between the knowing and the not knowing. And there's work to be done in that space. And just because you don't have an answer about the future, you do have an answer about something today, right? So today, you do know that there's a diagnosis. And then there's the future. And there's a big question mark in this space, right? So the future has, the way I explained it to her, this future for her had two choices. But we weren't going to get to the end of the line because the answer wasn't being given. And yet there was things that she needed to work on with the space in between. And then we went on this whole metaphysical journey, you know, maybe writing a book that could help others. And I loved her because I could see her know that she's a metaphysical person and yet worry about what society told her she needs to worry about, which is being successful, getting another job, you know, I could see her focusing on society's laws as opposed to the spiritual law. And so it was a little bit of a work to get her to understand it, right? Because she's not in yet. And then we kept talking about this mountain. It was like, we need to get you 25% around the mountain. And then the more we talked, I could see I got her 50% around the mountain. And I said, the next 50% is the unknown, but take 25% of that and produce something in a creative, metaphysical world. I said, then the last 25% gets answered, right? So I'm only bringing that up because it was a beautiful, beautiful client. But I'm only bringing that up because of this part where it says, Space is likewise divided into three: here, there, and the space in between. It is defining and describing this space between that becomes difficult and elusive. The moment you begin defining or describing the space you describe becomes here or there. Yet we know this space in between exists. It is what holds here and there in place, just as the eternal now holds before and after in place, right? But what was in between? What work did you do in between? There are three aspects of you. These three aspects of you are actually three energies. You might call them thought, word, and action. Just highlighting everything. I love this, by the way. All three put together produce a result in which your language and understanding is called a feeling or an experience. Your soul, which is your subconscious, your id, your spirit, your past, etc., is the sum total of every feeling you've ever had or created. Your awareness of some of these is called your memory. When you have memory, you are said to remember. That is, to put back together, to reassemble the parts. When you reassemble all the parts of you, you will have remembered who you really are, put together meaning. The process of creation starts with thought. We know that. Let's just go over that one more time. That's something that God explained to Neil in the beginning part of this book, explained to us. The process of creation starts with thought, an idea, conception, visualization. Everything you see was once someone's idea, really. Nothing exists in your world that did not first exist as pure thought. We know that, right? That was something that was explained in the beginning part of the book. Nothing in your world that did not first exist, nothing exists in your world that did not first exist as pure thought. This is true of the universe as well. Thought is the first level of creation. Remember that, guys. Remember that. Thought is the first level of creation. Next comes the word. Oh, I love this. You guys understand this? Am I like enjoying myself? Am I the only one that's going, oh my goodness, this is new to me. Next comes the word. Everything you say is a thought expressed. It is creative and sends forth creative energy into the universe. Words are more dynamic. Some might say more creative than thought, because words are a different level of vibrational thought. Words, they disrupt, change, alter, affect the universe with greater impact. Let's stop there for a minute, right? So, for those of you that are looking at all the IG videos on metaphysical magic, blah, 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 and every once in a while you'll come across an idea that says words are magic. So let's produce some magic, right? I want to remind people that hurtful words are magic, right? Especially to moms that are raising daughters, right? Especially to new moms who's got little babies running around the house, right? And you might think it's cute to kind of say things in front of the child, like, oh, he's so silly. Oh, he's a bubblehead. Oh, he's stinky diaper, stinky feet. It's cute. But remember what you're putting inside your child. So if you tell your child, you got to trust me on this. If you tell your child, get over here, stinky butt, you're not uplifting your child. Even though you might say it in the cutest word possible, come over here, cute sticky butt. Your words are magic. Better to say, come over here, cutie pie, let me change your stinky diaper. That way the child understands that something that they have on them needs to be taken off. But when you call your child stinky, how does he eradicate or erase those words from the very person that birthed him or adopted him or fostered him or her, right? Same thing goes when girls start to get older and moms start to see their little girls develop. Why are we hiding the necessity of developing? Why are we saying, don't be walking around with that short skirt, don't be showing your ass? Like, it's like, the one thing we want about babies is to be proud of their bodies as they get to different stages. So what you can say instead, hey, sweetie, when we wear a short skirt at 14, we put on cute little biker shorts, okay? And just end it, right? So again, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I just hear things out there from moms. And the other day, oh, so cute. The other day, I was in a supermarket. This mom goes, she had two little kids, and they were shopping with, kindergarten type shopping carts, but they were like 8 and 9. And this particular supermarket had children's shopping carts. And the little girl comes up to the mom with some flam. I hate flam, by the way. The dessert. And the little girl goes, the mom goes, what are you doing with flam? And the little girl doesn't answer. And the mom goes, have you ever tasted flam? And the little girl goes, no. And she goes, before you pick something up, you should know what it tastes like. And the little girl doesn't take it out, and the mom doesn't make her take it out, because what I would have expected for the mom to say, go put it back. Go put it back. You don't know what flam tastes like. And I thought she was going to go there. She didn't. And the mom goes, continue shopping. Right? So I said to the mom, I hate flam. And she goes, and I go, I don't know if I asked, like, why would she pick up flam if she'd never tasted it? And the mom very nicely explained to me. She goes, we come shopping here. They shop for their own stuff. She goes, that way, when I come home, they can't say, you don't buy me this and you don't buy me that. I just make them come shopping with me. And she goes, child, I'm not worried about that flam. Somebody in the house will eat the flam. But she was so lovely. I mean, just a lovely mom. And these two little chocolate girls. And I was like, wow, what a great mom. Like, there were so many wonderful things she was doing in the 5 minutes that I was witnessing this. And so I decided to tell her, right? And that's another thing that we all can do is support one another. I decided to tell her, I was like, you're a good mommy. You know? It was just so nice to see someone like not curse out their poor little children. I was like, you're such a good mommy. And then I went on about my business and she thanked me and she went on about her business. And I don't know, it just made me feel so good. You know? I learned something from her that day. All right. Next comes the word. Everything you say is a thought expressed. It's creative and sends forth creative energy into the universe. Words are more dynamic, thus, some might say more creative than thought, because words are a different level of vibration. Words are a different new level of vibration from original thought. Words disrupt, change, alter, affect the universe with greater impact. Words are the second level of creation. So what's first? Thought. What is second? Words. Next comes action. Actions are moving words. Action are words moving. Words are thoughts expressed. Thoughts are ideas formed. Ideas are energies come together. Energies are forces released. Forces are elements existed. Elements are particles of God. Portions of all the stuff of everything. I know that was a lot. The beginning is God. The end is action. Action is God creating. Action is God experienced. Your thought about yourself is that you are not good enough. Are you good enough? I'm asking you, aside from the book. Are you good enough? I don't know. Pick something. Are you good enough to teach? Are you good enough to just be? Are you good enough in the universe? Do you know sometimes it's okay to convince yourself that you are good enough? I am good enough to enter this room and be a part of this system, or pretty enough, or my weight is enough, right? So many things, right? Your thoughts about yourself is that you are not good enough, not wondrous enough, not sinless enough. That's my favorite part. How everyone carries a sin, right? We all do. And then when we hear the sin out there in the universe, there's two things we do. We retreat because the sin reminds us of us, right? Like we're being told about ourselves, even though nobody's talking to you. We retreat or we pretend that we never sinned. The one that pretends is dangerous. The one that retreats is like, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to keep quiet because at least they're conscious and available to reality. The other one that pretends they ain't never sinned, he that throws the first stone, dangerous. And back to the Bible, right? So when Jesus said, sorry, God, when Jesus said, he that throws the first stone, meaning he that has never sinned, remember, Jesus was talking about a prostitute. So was Jesus saying had never sinned in the likeness of this woman or had never sinned at all? I would think that what Jesus meant, and I don't really know this, is that he was not saying never sinned. I feel like he was saying if you had never slept on your wife, if you have never, looked at another woman, don't throw that stone, right? And nobody threw the stone because they were in consciousness of understanding their part. All right. But I've seen people throw stones. And what do we find out? Right? Like a politician will say, the gays, and they're problematic. And then you find out them in a hotel with the man. And it's like, oh, dangerous. Right? Um, your thought about yourself is that you're not good enough, not wondrous enough, not sinless enough to be a part of God, in partnership with God. Yeah, let's be really clear about that. You've sinned. You've sinned. If you read the Bible, do you know the Bible is full of sinners, liars, thievery, all kinds of shit? So please, if you have sinned, it is what it is. Just try to reconnect with your God the best way that you get. Oh shit, hold on a second. Oh my God. My boss just found out my birthday was on Tuesday, but I did tell her. And then I was trying to convince her to go to the beach with me, but I didn't want to tell her to come to the beach with me on my birthday. I was just like, come to the beach with me. But it's really hard running a hotel and a restaurant. So it is what it is. So she just called me just now. She goes, Tuesday was your birthday? I'm like, yes. She goes, I have it on my calendar. And I'm like, no, I actually told you it was my birthday. It's hard running oh shit. Hold on a second. Oh my God. So now she's like, we have to celebrate. And then she hangs up on me. And I'm like, okay. So she calls me back just now and she's like, what time are you working tonight? I'm like 5:30. And then she's like, okay, see you later. Oh my God. You don't know this woman. This woman, you don't even know. She's very, very sensitive soul and can make a big deal. So I guess I'm in for a celebration tonight again, but it's okay because Leos celebrate all month, right? Leos, we celebrate all month. We did let Cancers have their space this year because usually we don't. And Virgos, I love you. Stay in your lane, okay? Don't jump out your lane. Whenever Virgo starts, we'll give up the ghost, but don't, not even an hour before Virgo. Don't try it. But I'm not worried about Virgos. Virgos are cool people. All right. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Anka. Peace and blessings, Sweets Carmel. Coating, hey everyone. Sweets Carmel was trying to write it out with my one odd hand. That's the only way I can visualize it. Right? One out. Yes, vibrational. I always tell people around me to watch what you say. You are creating. And so, what we want to practice is no longer creating negativity. I want to put y'all to the test, and it's going to hurt like hell. I want y'all to only use positive words all week until next Saturday. Positive, positive, positive. It's going to hurt like hell. Because those of you that are not used to it, you're going to feel it, right? So I don't know what that could look like. I'm going to try it myself because I can be negative Millie too. So, like when something aggravates me, I'm going to find a way to explain why the situation happened in a positive way, not in a negative way. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, that's so aggravating. I'm going to say, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'll figure it out. And you figure it out too. And you let me know how only using positive words has made you conscious. Are you up for the challenge? Hi, Rhonda. So I cannot be negative Millie this week. By the way, Millie's my mother's name. I say it as a joke, mean joke. So maybe I can't say that this week either. I can't be mean. All right. Now I was supposed to go out with my neighbors. Damn it. I'm supposed to exchange my telephone number. I feel like I want to hang out with my neighbors today. Just haven't seen them. They're missing me, my neighbors, my God, people. If you knew the burden of Tracy, the story of Tracy is just incredible. All right, I got to figure it out. All right, words are the second level of creation. Next, which I'm assuming is third level, is action. Action are moving words. Words are thoughts expressed, thoughts are ideas formed, ideas and energies come together, energies and forces released. Forces are elements existed, elements are particles of God, portions of all, the stuff of everything. The beginning is God, the end is action, action is God creating, action is God explained. Your thought about yourself is that you are not good enough, not wondrous enough, not sinless enough to be a part of God, in partnership with God. You have denied for so long who you are that you have forgotten who you are. This has not occurred by coincidence. This is not happenstance. It is all a part of the divine plan. For you could not claim, create, experience who you are if you already knew it. It was necessary first for you to release, deny, or forget your connection to me in order to fully experience it by fully creating it, by calling it forth. Oh God, did you guys know this? From your grandest wish. My grandest desire was for you to experience yourself as the part of me you are. You are therefore in the process of experiencing yourself by creating yourself anew in every single moment, as am I through you. This has not occurred by coincidence. It's not a happenstance. It's all a part of the divine plan. So listen to what God is saying He designed. For you could not claim, create, or experience who you are if you already were it. So you understand? If you were already in co-creation with God, let's say from birth, if you kept that memory, then we can't create something new. So God says it was necessary first for you to release, meaning deny and forget your connection to me in order to fully experience it by fully creating it, by calling it forth. So this makes sense to me, right? In terms of forgetfulness, right? Because when I was in a Catholic church, talking about the Holy Trinity and the Holy Spirit, I never really knew who was God and who wasn't God, right? I thought Jesus was God. I thought Mary had the qualities of Jesus. So Mary was God to me too. God was God. The Holy Spirit was God, right? I just never understood the differences between one and another. And yet I would go to church every Sunday praising the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, and still not fully know who God is. So sometimes in the language of Catholicism, Jesus is called God, right? Um, and so there's this confusing, intertwining title between God and Jesus. I just never really got it. And I was grown. I must have been in my mid-20s when I was feeling guilty not calling Jesus God. I was feeling guilty not acknowledging God as a superior being over Jesus, even though I knew Jesus was the Son. But there's just this convoluted language in a Catholic church that I just got so confused at some point. So at some point, I just generally prayed up, right? And I wasn't New Age then. I was just generally prayed up. So if I called on God, then I just assumed that Jesus was with God. And the fact that I'm praying up allows me some reverence to my belief system and also forgiveness. But I thus began to learn that there was a huge difference. I know this is going to sound crazy, people, but you got to understand the mindset of Catholicism. And if you're not born and raised Catholic, maybe you don't get it. Like it all gets intertwined. And I began to realize once I left the Catholic Church, and I think I entered Baptist by this time, I understand God was God, the supreme being. And calling on the supreme being was really our first job, really. Whereas in the Catholic Church, they make you call on Jesus first, which is how I got all confused, right? And then, by the way, the Catholic Church gives you more confusion when they say to you, you can't even talk to God and Jesus. You have to talk through the saints. And every saint has a purpose. So the saint of family, the saint of pregnancy, the saint of this, the saint of that, the saint of papa. And so it gets even more confusing when you believe you have to go through the saints. And then they intercept the language of your desires to God. I just, shit is crazy. Sorry, Catholics, if anybody's listening and you're Catholic, but you know what I'm talking about. And then upon entering another religion, I was helped to understand that God is the effervescent, omnipresent, the all and the everything. And I also understood by going to another religion that it was okay to have direct conversations with God, that I wasn't supposed to fear this God. I was supposed to respect this God. Whereas the Catholic Church teaches you to fear God, don't talk to him, don't look at him, which ironically is what they kind of presented the priests as themselves, as God, and the Pope is the ever-present God. It gets weird in the Catholic Church. It just gets so weird. And so you're like, who am I praying to? I'm so confused. And so I had to leave the church to rediscover God because based upon my upbringing, I forgot. So here it says, God does it on purpose, that it's part of his divine plan for you to forget. And that you, me, you, and I have to work at the discovery. It was necessary first for you to release your connection to me in order to fully experience it by fully creating it, by calling it forth, right? And so by having these different experiences, one with the Catholic Church and then entering the Baptist Church. And by the way, in no way am I praising the Baptist Church. Like, they have their own freaking problems. And I didn't like that. Excuse me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm telling you about my experience. And I didn't like that they didn't revere Mother Mary enough as also one of the highest beings out there. Like, I heard, forgive me, Jesus, I'm just going to repeat this about your mother. I'm so sorry. It's not me saying it, I'm repeating it. I'm just telling Jesus so he don't get mad at me and like, oh, strike you for saying that. But I couldn't stay in a Baptist church once somebody said that Mary Mother was just an incubator. Like, you're fucking disgusting, you asswipes. No one, no woman is just an incubator. And it was disgusting to hear. And from that point, I was like, I can't stay in a Baptist church now, right? Because you don't respect women. If you don't respect the very being that brought you, the very being that you constantly praise and sing song and dance to. Like, you guys are weird. In any case, I left the Baptist church. You will discover that I've been through a lot of churches and dislike them all of them. I kept looking for God. And I knew that I was looking for energy, God's energy. What I kept finding was a human experience. And all of these ridiculous rules. Wear a scarf on your head. You can't wear a short skirt. If you do wear a short skirt, you got to have a prayer cloth. It's just exhausting, these churches. I just had to decide. But it took me years. Right up until a few years ago, I was in Presbyterian church. And once they found out I was a psychic, all hell broke loose. I didn't even tell you, I never told you all this story. All hell broke loose. And then the very leader of the Presbyterian church in our section said to me, I'm going to ban you from the church. And I said to her, you will not ban me from the church. I will show up here every single Sunday, and I will show up as you know me to be. I am a woman. I am a Black woman. I am a psychic. Get over it. I said that to her. I put the fear in God in her. Oh boy, when you know you have power and words, and someone tried to tell me I can't walk into, there would have been such a scandal. And something in her eyes knew it. And I had this amazing friend, Fletcher. He was Indian, and he just had my back. True, he was just such a good friend. And Fletcher said, if you do that to her, we have to take it to the congregation first. And she did not want a scandal in that church. She did not take it to the congregation. We won a little battle. And I looked at Fletcher and I was like, oh, that's a good one. I love that. Take it to the congregation, because the congregation fucking loved me. So that would have been fun to see. She was afraid and she backed down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I say that to say, I like the part here where God said it's divine for you to forget me. I think that's mind-blowing to me. For you could not claim, create, experience who you are if you already were it, right? It was necessary first for you to release, to forget your connection to me in order to fully experience, by then fully creating it, by calling it forth. For your grandest wish and my grandest desire was for you to experience yourself as the part of me you are. You are therefore in a process of experiencing yourself by creating yourself anew in every single moment as I am through you. You ever look out on something and you see, you all of a sudden you have an experience. I work at a hotel where the sea is right in front of me. When I tell you, it brings me to tears. I've never had this experience, but it's very common here. All the hotels are by the sea, right? But when I tell you I've never had this experience where I am looking at a massive sea every single day and the awe of the sea being laid out in front of me, it is beautiful, daunting. Let me see if I have a picture here. It's even scary to know that such a beautiful part of God's world is showing up, right? But you're sitting on the sea. You're sitting, like you're a few feet away from the sea, and then the sea stretches out for miles, and you see nothing in front of you. It's all sea and sky, right? I thought I had a picture here. And you look at something, and it doesn't have to be this. It also could be something your child did. And you think, you get this feeling. It's an awkward feeling of, that's amazing. Like, did I create that, meaning a child? Am I placed in a area where I get to see this every day? And you're just so happy. You just are. And it's at that time when you can say to yourself, huh, this is God? Am I feeling something I've never felt before? And can I say that this is God? Because this feels so good. And it feels so one with God. Got some pictures here, but I don't think I have pictures of the sea right now. I do have some pictures here. But it's okay. Let me see. It's okay. I thought I had something here. How was that? Oh, it's coffee stains. All right, doesn't really matter. I'll get a picture today and I'll show you through my eyes. And sometimes when I'm having these moments, and I have a lot of these moments, and I think, am I one with God? Is this the moment that I'm one with God? And when I feel that moment when I'm one with God, then I look at other things. I look at the coloring in the water and what the clouds are trying to say and what birds are around. Like all of a sudden, everything starts to come into place, right? And that's just one of many experiences. I've had this experience with, my grandchildren, right? Just watching them like say things and develop, and you're like, oh my God, this is so cute that I'm having this experience with them, right? Um, and so what the book is saying is that every experience anew is an experience that God is having with you through your eyes. I am one with God all of a sudden, not recognizing that God is having my experience with me. It's all weird, right? And intertwined, but it's just so beautiful. All right. Let me see what everybody's saying. It's okay. I've been through a lot of religions too. Born in the Holiness Church. Oh, is that a type of religion, Holiness Church? Laugh out loud. Some of my coworkers are afraid that I study tarot, and I grew up Catholic. Yes, yes. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you are therefore in the process of experiencing yourself by creating yourself anew in every single moment, as I am through you. Do you see the partnership? God says. Do you grasp it in implications? It's a holy collaboration, truly a holy communion. Life will take off for you then when you choose for it to. Huh. You have not so chosen as yet. Huh. You have procrastinated, prolonged, protracted, protested. Now's the time that you promulgate it and produce what you have been promised. To do this, you must believe the promise and live it. You must live in the promise of God. Okay, I can only go through my experience. And I remember, guys, only wanting to be, no, I remember wanting to be a psychologist because I thought that was a way to help people for me. It's a wonderful way to help people. At some point, I found tarot, and it restructured something inside of me. And so once I studied the tarot, I took courses in it, then I began to realize that this is who I want to be, right? We talked about this before. I'm actually supposed to be a healer, hands-on healer, but I refuse that position because the vision that I got is that I would be held up in my home and people would line up outside my door and that's all I would be doing all day. But I couldn't see that as a happy life, so I refused that road, right? So I took up tarot, right? And upon taking up tarot, I didn't understand in the metaphysical world that that is just a little bit of a totality that's never ending, right? And so, but I didn't know this. To me, it was at the ends all. I didn't understand that there was so much more. And I didn't understand I can even take tarot and heal it at the time. And heal others at the time. And so I said to God, I'd like to do this. I like to do this as a living. I like to spend all my days reaching out to people through tarot, right? And I had to find a way to make it happen. So God says life will take off for you when you choose for it to, right? And there's been a couple of times in my life where people have said to me, just do it, just do it. Not be a psychic, but just do it. Just be more of it, right? Because I was already a psychic, but there was just something. God would bring me a couple of people in my lives, and they would be like, just do it. And I am doing it. They're like, no, do it more. And of course, I didn't understand it because I thought it was in the best placement by being a tarot. I didn't know that I had to get back to the healing aspect of it, what I had come down to do. So maybe not hands-on healing, but definitely healing with what? My words. And I heal with my words so that my words take a hold on for you and you create the action. But it is up to you to heal. And so when I procrastinated, prolonged, protracted, protested, right? No, I can't do it. Like, whatever you're seeing for me, I can't. I just didn't understand the language that was being presented to me. Or nobody was showing me how. But I do realize I had to figure it out and fight for the better part of what I thought tarot is the beginning and the end, right? So once I stopped protesting, right, giving myself negative direction, and I started opening up to mantras, Asian philosophy, right? Meditations are my favorite. Guided meditations are my absolute favorite. Having commune with the animals and the birds out here, right? My neighbor said, oh my God, these birds, don't trust the birds. My neighbor sits outside. He also communes with the universe. And he said to me yesterday, he goes, Tracy, there's a bird right now that is territorial between your door and maybe 4 doors down. And I said, what? And he's like, yeah, this bird will not let other birds come near any of these doors, starting with yours. And I tickled black, right? I was so tickled black. And I says, well, funny you should say that. They're called walking dogs, right? They have a specific name in the Caribbean. And so all they do is walk, but they walk like little soldiers. They walk and bounce back and forth like they are guarding something. And it's when my neighbor said that to me, I was like, oh, this is validation because I call them soldiers. He's like, they guard the door. All of it is just so funny. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get this. I'm sorry, guys. That's my neighbor, Miss Marion, or I like to call her driving me crazy, Miss Daisy. Um, I just haven't seen my neighbors, and they seem so sad about it. They seem so sad about it. They're like, we haven't seen you. And I was like, I know, I'm working. All right. So she has something to give me. So I told her, give me some time and I'll come out and knock on her door. All right. So do you see the partnership? Do you grasp it and its implications? It's a holy collaboration. Truly, it's a holy communion. Life will take off for you when you choose for it to. Come on, who's been holding themselves back? Because I know what this feels like. All right. You have not chosen as yet. You have procrastinated, prolonged, projected, protested. All right. Do this. You must believe the promise and live it. You must live the promise of God. Right. And some of my people have been very successful, right? I get so many nurses that follow me, right? But I get these nurses that are shifting in a metaphysical world, right? Because you're all a part of a healing aspect. What you all chose was to heal society's way, right? Because that's your belief system that you're in communion with God, right? But now that you're nurses, right, and you've been a nurse for, then something happens where it's like, oh, is this enough? Am I doing enough? Am I healing enough? And then you begin to discover, I like the spiritual world. And you start to dab in, all kinds of sage and crystals, never leaving your daytime job because nobody wants you to leave your daytime job. What God wants you to do is to remember who you are. And so if there's something extra that needs to be done in the metaphysical world, just take your nursing degree and come aboard the metaphysical world, right? Just don't separate the two, right? Don't stop yourself. Bring it on. Just bring your degree with your desires, right? Am I making sense? All right. The promise of God is that you are his son, that you are her offspring. You are God's likeness, and you are his equal. Who believes that? That's so pretty. Who believes that? Who believes that when you go to bed at night, you co-create that God is in you, that you are God. What church ever taught you that? What church ever said to you, stand up, who are you? And you get to say, I am God. Because God is in me. I co-create with God. So anything that God puts inside of me, I become. So I am ever so powerful and ever so present in my belief system, which, by the way, guys, is the only reason why I give such accurate psychic readings. Because I don't deter from my belief system that when I am reading, it is the God in me that is reading through me. I am only the tool that God uses, but I don't mess with the Holy Spirit. I don't do a reading and I'd be like, I'm so scared to do a reading. Or a lot of people say, I can't read myself, Tracy. I can read others, but I can't read myself. And it's like, no, I will never trust you if you can't read yourself, because your job is for you first. So when I do my readings, everybody's like, oh my God, you're so accurate. It's because I am God. I am authorized. It is divinely put inside of me. Because if you come to me, you came to me because God sent you to me. It's no accident. You have many choices out there. But when you choose me, you choose God, right? And then Jesus becomes my teacher, that my healer inside of me. My words. Jesus becomes my words. But I trust everything that comes out of my mouth. Even though, oh, I hope this didn't break. Okay, good. Even though in some of my readings, people try to be like, no, Tracy, no. Like I'll say something like, this is a good example. This happened years ago. And I'd be like, has your boyfriend been in jail? And they go, no, Tracy, it's insulting. And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult. I'm like, oh, why would they show me jail then? And I stayed quiet and I'm looking at the cars trying to figure out, am I seeing something wrong? Because humans can get inside my head and confuse me. And I will hear spirits say he's been in jail. And I was like, sweetie, this guy's been in jail. And no, 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 no. Check those cards again, bitch. No, no, no. No one ever said that to me. And I had the same woman that I'm making fun of. We go on to other things because sometimes when they're so adamant that I have to be like, okay, let's go on to something other. And then, because what they don't know is that if I get a hit and it's right, then I can trust everything else that comes out of my mouth. So when they confuse me right away, then the whole reading can be thrown off, right? And then I'm in the middle of the reading and she goes, hey, I'm on right now. What are you talking about? And then she goes, oh, Tracy. Oh, you meant jail. Oh, you know what? He was in jail when he was 16. I forgot all about, oh my God. Oh my God. Who is this? Who are you? Aw, I don't remember. All right. The promise of God is that you are his son, his offspring, his likeness, his equal. That's beautiful. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here. I was frazzled, but I didn't become frazzled as I was reading. I hoped I helped, as always. And we got to get through this book, people. We got to get through this book. But I do hope you all are getting something out of our Saturday sessions. I know I am. I love that I'm reading something and I receive as well. That's so beautiful. I believe I am part of the greatness that is. Yes, yes, absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful Saturday. I am going to do a video later on some rune symbols. Rune symbols. All right. And I want you to maybe do some rune symbols for the last day of the Lionsgate energy. So I might come back on in about an hour. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me be a part of your world. Have a good Saturday.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.